What's up, my Gemini soul family? Welcome back, everyone. If you're new here, welcome to my channel. Be sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on your notifications so you can stay up to date and informed with all of my collective readings for the month. Sometimes I also share, like, numerology, astrology forecasts, and things like that, meditations and stuff. So be sure you turn on those notifications. Now, Gemini. This is a collective July 2026 reading. So Gemini, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus, wherever that shows up for you in your chart. Um, as always, take what resonates for you, and if it doesn't, leave it behind for others. So, because this is a collective reading, not everything is going to resonate. So just take what does and leave the rest for others. Now, before we get into your individual cards, we are going to want to take a look at a little bit about the collective energy for July, because July very much has this like hero's journey kind of vibe to it, right? Um, we start the month out, which July is traditionally the seventh month. So it has that number seven energy, numerologically speaking, which is associated with the hermit in tarot. But that is directly related to the Cancer energy that we start off in the beginning of July. And so Cancer is around your like emotions and family patterns and stuff like that, your home life, um, things that we might have been like working on privately that are kind of bubbling up to the surface right now for us to reflect on and distill wisdom from. Okay. And that's important because as we get into the latter half of the month and we get into Leo energy, that's where the universal energy of the number eight shows up for us. Because July is a 7 month, but we're in a universal 1 year. So 7 plus 1 is 8. So, universally speaking, July has that 7-8 energy. And the 8 energy really shows up in the latter half of the month when we kick off Leo season. Because the 8 is connected to the strength card in traditional tarot. And that is where we're given the strength to take the wisdom and things that we have distilled from, hermit mode, our inner work, right? And we actually start to embody that wisdom. Whatever we have learned through our lived experiences becomes like part of our medicine, part of our wisdom teachings, whatever it is that we bring back to the collective to share, right? That's the hero's journey coming full circle. So, that is what July looks like on like a collective level. Okay. Now, Gemini, getting into the personal aspect of your reading, I want you to keep in mind this question, right? About like what truth is finally clear enough? Like what has finally been revealed to you? You finally have clarity on it. What is that is finally becoming clear enough for you to act on instead of just thinking about and kind of going back and forth in your mind about, Gemini, you guys kind of have that dual perspective in your mind, the ability to really kind of balance things between your heart and your mind. Um, and that really shows up here in your reading too, okay? Starting with like your emotional frequency, the color purple for you guys this month, which says developmental clarity, and it's card 39. Okay. Now, purple is very much connected to your higher self. So, like higher spiritual awareness and wisdom, trusting your intuition, um, seeing the bigger picture beyond whatever is like surface level, Um, this kind of asks you to like zoom out and see that bigger lesson or pattern that or even purpose that is being revealed to you about everything that you've been experiencing. Okay. Now 39 reduces to a 12, which becomes a 3. And 3 is like the number of communication and creativity, like your creative expression. It's also how you connect with others. Um, so this is kind of like giving a voice to the things that you have been moving through. Um, and for Gemini, I feel like that's especially important because communication is such a natural part of you guys' energy to begin with. And this says develop mental clarity. So, um, you know, this is about um something that you have been circling for a while, like whether that is like a decision about something, or maybe it's an idea that you have that you're kind of tossing around, or like a certain direction or path that you want to take. Something that you have been sensing behind the scenes, but you haven't maybe fully trusted your intuition on. This is about developing clarity around that. Okay. um July is going to kind of help you guys see things more clearly, see that pattern more clearly too. And then once you see it, what are you going to do with it? Like how is that going to impact the way that you move once you have that clarity? Okay. Now, the main areas of impact for you guys this month, like where this is going to show up the most for you, we have communication, environment, and patience. And it's really funny because you guys, your reading is almost like a combination of Aries and Taurus. Like I can see bits of both of those showing up here. So I don't know, maybe you have one of those signs somewhere in your chart. You might want to check those readings out too. But anyway, it's showing up for you guys through communication, environment, and patience. Okay. So first with communication, card 33, that gold color. Okay, 33 is the master teacher. Okay. So this is about, your voice carrying something meaningful. Um, Gold is like a solar plexus kind of color, so it relates to your confidence. It can also be related to like your sense of self-worth. Um, but it's also related to your purpose and like visibility, being seen, being confident in your gifts, and trusting that there is value in what you have to say, what you have to share and teach others. So Gemini, you guys, communication, like I said, is such a big, big part of your energy already. um and you guys might have something important to share through communication. So that could be a conversation that you have with somebody, or that could be um some type of teaching opportunity. It could be a project. It could even be something as simple as like a post, right? Something that gets expressed through you guys' communication this month. So you guys may be being called to speak more openly about something that you have learned. Like I said, the beginning half of the month asks us to distill wisdom from our experiences. So there is something in what you have learned that is meant to be communicated and shared with others. Now, what I will say too with this communication and how it connects to your solar plexus, this could be a call for some of you to um, advocate for yourself, to, ask for what you want or for your needs to be met, instead of like hoping that somebody's just gonna figure it out or see it. You know what I mean? Like for some of you, the way that you communicate your needs to people might really be coming up for review right now. Okay. Um, And this is about you being willing to communicate that openly, okay? And really ask directly for what it is you need. Um, for some of you too, I would say that maybe there is an idea that you have about something that you want to teach or communicate to others, and maybe you've been tossing this idea around for a while. Maybe you felt like it might have needed refinement of some kind, or you might have needed to feel more confident before you were able to take that and express it. Um, but, you know, I feel like this is a clear indication because, like I said, this is a master number, it's the master teacher. So I feel like this is a clear indication for some of you that you are ready to turn your lived experiences into like wisdom or guidance of some kind that can actually help other people. You see what I mean? Something that you have lived through becomes like part of your purpose, becomes part of your medicine. And I will share just a quick little backstory and not, to project myself into your reading, Gemini, but just a quick little example of this is your purpose can often be found in your pain, right? The things that you have gone through in life and how you have endured, how you've overcome those obstacles and challenges, that all becomes part of the medicine, the wisdom teachings that you share with others. Had I not gone through all the things that I had gone through and had to work through my healing process, I would not be where I am trying to help others do the same. You know what I mean? So, whatever that looks like for you guys, some of you are kind of being called into service that way. Okay. Something about your lived experiences that, really is showing up and is becoming part of your purpose. Okay. You're getting clarity on that. Um, then we also have this number 44 environment. Okay. With this green color. Now, 44 is another master number. Um, This one is sometimes known as the master healer, but it's usually kind of related as the master builder because the number four relates to like your foundation and like structures and stability and things like that, like long-term stability. So this can look like creating something that is real and tangible and can support your future. Now, this green color is associated with the heart chakra. So this is all about, heart healing and growth and connection and that kind of stuff. This could be your relationships. But with it being environment, this can be, the spaces around you that either make you feel nourished or draining and depleted. Okay. So, Gemini, your environment is going to be a major part of things for you this month. Okay. So, that could literally mean your home. Um, that could be, the people who you're surrounded by every day, your community, your work environment, whatever that looks like. Okay. It's going to be different for everyone, but this can also be your emotional environment too. Like um, what kind of energy are you absorbing? So that could be online communities and things like that too, you know. But mainly I think the kind of guidance here is to look at your environments and to see where, what environments, what people and places leave you feeling lighter versus, heavier and denser. What nourishes you versus what is depleting you. Okay. So take your surroundings seriously this month. All right. You could even like cleanse your space. Maybe it's decluttering or organizing or moving furniture around or something like that. Um, but this can also be around your routine. This can be around boundaries. like changing who has access to your energy kind of thing. And making sure that the people who do have access to your energy are actually supporting the life that you're trying to build for yourself, right? Instead of distracting you or whatever. That foundation really, really matters because you guys, you're focused on building a life of peace and joy and comfort, and you deserve it. So, those connections that you have need to be connections that fulfill you and make it easier for you to thrive instead of, just survive. Okay. Now we also have patience, number two, and that's connected to your second chakra or sacral chakra with this orange color. Um, orange is your emotional body, um, creativity and pleasure, desire, your relationships, the way that you move through life from your instincts, right? Survival instincts kind of thing. Like I said, it's all sacral chakra energy. So that really shows up here. And then number two, that is, partnerships. So that's why your environment matters. So this could be partnerships, but this can also be balance, um, things like receptivity and timing and stuff. The way that things are unfolding, right? Having patience for it instead of trying to like force things yourself because you're kind of on spirit's time, Um, because Gemini, you guys like when you guys get an idea, you want to move on it, you want to act on it right away. When you get like new information, stuff like that, like you guys process things very quickly. Okay. And you guys also like to talk through things. Um, you kind of look at things through every angle until you can, find the answer or the solution or, whatever that looks like. But July is about developing mental clarity and having patience, letting things kind of unfold. Um, you know, you're not always going to know the answer right away. You don't always have to act on things or respond to things right away. This is about discernment and also about um, responding versus reacting from an emotional place. You know what I mean? So something that is kind of developing behind the scenes, you are being asked to have patience as it grows. A seed has to take root and then rise up into the light before it can bloom. And so that's going to require some patience. Um, and there's great care and patience, especially for anyone who does like gardening. You guys know, like, it requires some patience for those seeds to grow, especially the big ones, the things that we really want to manifest, or the things that we really want to grow. Those things take time. The things that are worthy and beautiful, those things usually take time to grow. Okay. It's about knowing when to take action, you know, um, and when to be still and patient. Okay. Now let's get to the deeper story beneath all of this. Okay. And that's what these cards here represent. That is coming in through joyous fun, deserving, peace, and teacher. Now, Joyous Fun is an energy card. So that's your energy card this month. And it's coming through as the number seven. So, like I was saying earlier with the seven energy of July, it is that hermit card kind of energy, but it's inward spiritual reflection. So, like I was saying, it's that hermit energy where you go inside and find the answers that you have been looking for. Um, you know, that is showing up for you through joyous fun. So like your mental clarity, your wisdom, the spiritual wisdom and clarity and things like that, it just kind of comes in naturally this month when you're not focused on it. When you are just allowing yourself to have fun and be present instead of feeling like joy is somehow a distraction from like your growth or, spiritual healing mission or what have you. Like joy is part of that. Some of you might have been so focused on, healing or trying to figure out things, getting through your responsibilities and fixing problems and trying to like plan the next move or whatever, that you might have forgotten what it feels like to do something just because it brings you joy. Joy is the medicine. Joy and laughter and play is the medicine. So, for some of you, it might be time, look at that environment, right? Might be time to like reconnect with your friends. Go do something fun and laugh, Um, uh, this could kind of go back to creativity too, creating something just for fun, not because it's a resource of profit, you know. Um, Take a trip or get outside or, just something new, something fun. Give yourself permission to enjoy life. It is still being built. You are still accomplishing your goals and healing and doing all the things that you wanted to do, but you're doing it through fun. Life gets to be fun. We don't have to become rigid in our healing journeys. Okay? Now, we also have deserving number 6, and that's your consciousness card. Okay. Um, the number 6 is related to healing, to care and love and home, family, that kind of things. It's also the way that we give and receive love. Okay. So for some of you, um, this might be a month where you need to remember that you are allowed to receive. You are allowed to receive support and love. You are allowed to have fun. You are allowed to rest. All the, opportunities and help and love and kindness and support. You are worthy of all of that. You are deserving of all of that. You don't have to earn that. Okay? There could be some kind of like old belief around productivity and how it relates to self-worth or how you entertain other people. Um, or when you're like emotionally available for other people all the time, but then you feel like you don't have that same support reciprocated, right? Like you guys deserve all the good things, all the joy and prosperity and peace and abundance that is around you. Your worth is not um a reward for how much bullshit you can endure. You know what I mean? Like you are deserving now as you are without having to earn it, simply because you are. Okay. We also have the number 2 intention card, peace. Okay. So peace is your intention. And peace is not the same thing as silence. You know, um, I know some of you, because we have communication here, some of you may struggle to communicate your peace or communicate your needs in an effort to try to keep the peace. Some of you may not say directly how you're feeling or what your needs are in an attempt to try to keep the peace. Like sometimes conversations can be difficult and you might not want to upset another person, but this is a reminder that you're not responsible for that. Like you can't stay in something uncomfortable just because it's easier than having a difficult conversation that would change things because you want to keep the peace. You see what I'm saying? Peace is choosing what brings you back into alignment with yourself. Okay. Now that might mean slowing down for some of you. That might mean communicating for some of you, having fun for some, like there's different ways to look at this, but let people be where they are. You're not responsible for other people. You're not responsible for managing other people's emotions. You're only responsible for managing your own. And sometimes that means having that difficult conversation or removing yourself from people, places, and situations that rob you of your peace. Okay. And other people don't have to approve or understand that either. Okay. Now we also have the number 4 teacher, and this is your people card showing up here. So this could literally be a teacher, a mentor, a coach, a guide, or something like that, like a therapist or professional of some kind. um like somebody whose wisdom kind of helps you see the situation from a bigger perspective, having that clarity, right? But I think for a lot of you Geminis, this is more so about you becoming the teacher. Because, like I was saying in the beginning, for some of you, it's realizing that you have so much wisdom from your lived experiences, and that is meant to be shared. Like some of you might not give yourselves enough credit for how wise you truly are. And so for some of you, this is about embodying that wisdom and sharing it. You might be being called to share something or teach something or, be a guide to someone in some kind of way. Now, that could be, like I said, a conversation. That could be some type of post and content that you create or something like that, a class, or just kind of some way of being in service that allows you to share your voice and to communicate your wisdom. Okay. Whatever it is, what I would say though is that it needs a container because that's what this number 4 is all about. It's structure. So, whatever it is that you have learned and are supposed to teach, that's going to need some kind of structure and a real container. Okay. So, like I said, that could be a class, that could be a post, that could be um, a plan, something, right? It's a commitment to taking your wisdom and your creativity and building something around it. Okay. Whatever that looks like. Um, Gemini, your guidance for July is pretty clear. First and foremost, say what you mean. The communication card is way too strong all through here. Um, to minimize in any way. So whatever conversation, idea, message, or whatever it is that needs to be expressed more is asking for you to do that and to do it confidently, right? Because like I said, this is solar plexus energy and standing in your truth and power. Okay. And secondly, clean up your environment. Whatever, your internal world, your external world, I don't know if, maybe, like I said, maybe you want to clean up your home space and declutter, reorganize, or like move some furniture or whatever. Um, you know, Whatever it is, it's about creating a more stable, secure, uh, nourishing environment for yourself, right? Something that feeds your future. Because this is not about operating from trust and fear. I mean, this is about operating from trust and no longer operating from a space of fear anymore or lack anymore. And thirdly, stop treating joy like it has to be earned, by all the work. Like joy is part of the medicine too. So make time for it. Don't keep putting off the fun. Don't keep feeling, well, I have to do this first, or I have to be done with this first before I could go take a vacation or go do something fun or whatever. Let yourself enjoy something without making it ugh, an obligation all over again. You see what I'm saying? Um, and and practice patience with whatever is developing right now. Whatever it is that is growing, whatever seed you have planted that is growing right now, give it space and time. Let things come through, let spirit help you, let the clarity kind of develop around it first, and then, let it unfold naturally instead of trying to like force it to happen. Um, that's a big part of this too. Um, so yeah, um, peace is the ultimate goal for you guys. Um, and to create a life of peace, you have to remove the things that disrupt your peace. And sometimes that's internally, sometimes that's externally. So whatever that is for you guys, um, be willing to give it to yourself. Okay. Now, your spiritual support for this month is coming in very strong. We've got hope with love and acceptance. And she's reminding you that love is yours. Recognize your divine worth and choose loving thoughts. Okay. And notice how that sits by this deserving card. And it's kind of the same color, color theme showing up there too. So Gemini, be mindful of how you guys are speaking to yourselves this month, especially. Like really pay attention to the stories and limiting beliefs that are coming up. Um, what stories start repeating when you get anxious or uncertain about things? Um, because that's what hope and acceptance is all about. Um, Interrupting those intrusive thoughts with heart-centered truth, going back to that heart-centered truth, right? You are worthy of love, you are worthy of support, you are worthy of being treated with the same care and love that you give so freely to other people. You are worthy of the peace that you desire. So take up space in your own life and say what it is that you need. We also have Sanat Kumara with light activation. And he says to shine your light, your internal guidance is coming through loud and clear. So I feel like that's a strong kind of like confirmation of that purple frequency and the clarity, the um mental clarity being developed. Your internal guidance is coming in strong. So, do you doubt yourself? Do you doubt your intuition? This patience card, like I said, is connected to the sacral, and you also have communication here. So, your sacral does communicate with you. That's where your intuition lies. So, do you trust it enough to let it guide you? Even if what it's guiding you towards feels unfamiliar, that's the road to expansion, right? So, are you going to trust it? That is the question. Now, we also have Holy Amethyst with Divine Alchemy, saying to move beyond current challenges and focus on what you desire. Okay. That does not mean to pretend that the challenges don't exist. It just means that current challenges are not your whole story. Okay. You are probably in the middle of a big alchemical transformation right now. And where things have been like confusing or frustrating, or painful, even like, patterns and things for some of you, that is all being transformed into wisdom and strength and clarity, which is alignment, right? Ultimately. So keep your attention on what you're trying to build for yourself, what you want to create. And lastly, Joan of Arc with the voice of truth. And she says, stand strong, focus on your purpose, release the fear of persecution, and speak your truth. I feel like that's the clearest message in this entire reading because it relates to everything, you know? So uh, there might be a part of you that kind of like, worries about what people are going to think if you say the thing, if you communicate your story, right? If you speak your truth, communicate your story or share your work, um, whatever that is, there might be a part of you that worries about what other people will think. But Joan of Arc is telling you it doesn't matter. Just because someone doesn't understand you, that's a them problem, not a you problem. That doesn't mean you're wrong. That's just where they are in their level of awareness. That doesn't mean you need to change anything. You know what I mean? You're allowed to be clear and direct and speak your truth and take your purpose seriously, right? Focus on your purpose. So you're allowed to speak your truth. How's that saying go? Speak your truth, even if your voice trembles. That's what comes to mind when I read this. So be willing to say the things, Gemini. All right, now let's get into your final guidance from Spirit. And it says, dearest you, let us ask you, are you looking for happiness outside of your everyday moment to moment experience, thinking you'll find happiness out there someday? So many go chasing a magic it out there, but it never could be found there. So we want to share a secret that shouldn't be a secret at all. You are pure joy. What made you is pure joy. And every time you wake up, and even when you go to sleep, you have joy waiting to be expressed from inside of you. Joy and happiness and fullness comes from doing joy, being joy, knowing it, cultivating it, and lighting it in your heart so that you can share it. You must know this so that when the time comes, you will be fully free and your joyful being and actions will turn you into a beacon of starlight. So look within and be joyful, even for the tears and loss, for they mean you have lived, really lived. So jump into it all and love every minute of it. We all love you like crazy over here. So, Gemini, this whole reading literally is about, you know, how clarity becomes action. You know, your voice matters, your foundation matters, timing matters, right? Like, um, all of that is part of it. And you don't have to earn your right to have a joyous, fun life that deserves celebration, you know? That's what the piece is all about. You are allowed to choose a life that feels calm and aligned. Okay. All the guidance that you need, the direction you need, the support that you need is all coming in for you, Gemini. So, the bottom line here for you guys is to stop waiting until you feel perfectly ready. Um, create an environment that supports your next chapter and make sure that joy is a part of that. Joy is a part of your healing process, you know, and speak the truth that your soul has been asking um for a voice on, okay? So, Gemini, my loves, I am sending you guys so much love and light, all of the blessings of abundance for July and so on, right? Let me know in the comments how this reading resonated for you. I would love to hear about what landed and even what didn't, right? Let me know how you enjoy this. And of course, if you want to do a personal reading with me to see how this will, impact you on a personal direct level, I will include my, sign up information and things like that so you can book directly with me. I will say, if you're not following me already on Facebook, follow me on Facebook. Every Tuesday, I host Tarot Tuesday, and I usually pull one free card for everyone. And I also offer discounts and things at that time too. Like I do like mini readings, donation-based mini readings during that time, and I also offer pre-recorded full readings at a discounted price. That way you guys don't have to actually like book and wait for openings and availability. Okay. So got some options there for you guys, and I'll make sure that I post that in the description. But anyway, I again am sending you guys so much love and all the blessings of joy and peace for July. Take care, you guys.